I would first like to welcome you back to my channel. I thank you for the continued support. Today, I will be talking about President Trump's tariffs that he's placing on Canada, Mexico, and China. This is the one President Trump called the big one. This will be on April 2nd. He even named it Liberation Day. This is when President Trump will place a 25% tariff on all vehicles and auto parts imported into the United States. Before I get into my points and my viewpoints and my perspective about this whole situation, I'm going to let you hear from the late, great President Ronald Reagan.
Indeed, throughout the world, there's a growing realization that the way to prosperity for all nations is rejecting protectionist legislation and promoting fair and free competition. Now, there are sound historical reasons for this. For those of us who lived through the Great Depression, the memory of the suffering it caused is deep and searing. And today, many economic analysts and historians argue that high tariff legislation passed back in that period, called the Smoot-Hawley tariff, greatly deepened the Depression and prevented economic recovery. You see, at first, when someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. What eventually occurs is, first, homegrown industries start relying on government protection in the form of high tariffs. They stop competing and stop making the innovative management and technological changes they need to succeed in world markets. And then, while all this is going on, something even worse occurs. High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars. The result is more and more tariffs, higher and higher trade barriers, and less competition. So soon, because of the prices made artificially high by tariffs that subsidize inefficiency and poor management, people stop buying. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs. The memory of all this occurring back in the 30s made me determined when I came to Washington to spare the American people the protectionist legislation that destroys prosperity. Now, it hasn't always been easy. There are those in the Congress, just as there were back in the 30s, who want to go for the quick political advantage, who risk America's prosperity for the sake of a short-term appeal to some special interest group, who forget that more than 5 million American jobs are directly tied to the foreign export business, and additional millions are tied to imports. Well, I've never forgotten those jobs, and on trade issues, by and large, we've done well. In certain select cases, like the Japanese semiconductors, we've taken steps to stop unfair practices against American products, but we've still maintained our basic long-term commitment to free trade and economic growth. So, with my meeting with Prime Minister Nakasone and the Venice Economic Summit coming up, it's terribly important not to restrict a president's options in such trade dealings with foreign governments. Unfortunately, some in the Congress are trying to do exactly that. I'll keep you informed on this dangerous legislation because it's just another form of protectionism, and I may need your help to stop it. Remember, America's jobs and growth are at stake. Until next week, thanks for listening, and God bless you.
So we just heard from the late, great President Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan is one of the most respected presidents. And yes, he is or was a Republican president. As we heard clearly, President Reagan stated that tariffs may initially sound good. So as I was listening to President Reagan, one of the things that stood out to me that he said was that for the sake of the American people, he would be less likely to impose tariffs. Because though they sound good in the beginning, it will really affect and cost American citizens. And to me, that's one of the main things President Trump is not looking at. I heard him say in one of the interviews, it may hurt a little, but y'all just deal with it. People are already struggling, and it's tell them just deal with it. I also had a question about this whole tariff thing, how he came, said he was going to put tariffs on, Canada and Mexico. But my question was, on President Trump's last term, didn't he create an agreement, an exchange trade agreement with Canada and Mexico? USMCA. Y'all familiar with that? United States, Mexico, and Canada agreement. So on his last term, he the one had the agreement. And now he want to come back now, because we're still under the same agreement. But he's going to come back now and impose these tariffs on our neighbors, north, which is Canada, as well as south, which is Mexico. So I don't know, man. But I don't see President Trump doing anything in the interest of American citizens. See, President Reagan had a reference for these tariffs and how it eventually made the lives of American citizens worse. He referred to the Smoot-Hawley tariffs of 1930s. And what happened was American citizens fell deeper into the Great Depression. He also included that it'll be less competition because you may not eventually won't have these imports coming in. So it won't be a desire to really compete now because now you control the market. And then as time goes on, people will eventually stop buying. Businesses may eventually close, which will lead to he said he gave the number of 5 million, but let's say millions of jobs lost. And he kept referring back to the year of 1930. So he gave a clear, it seemed like he had a good insight of what he was doing. Unlike President Trump, I want to do the tariffs and then the market go up, people losing their 401ks, retirement, so to me, I respect President Reagan to the fullest. First of all, that he cared enough for the American people to make decisions based on how it would affect American people. Instead of, unlike how President Trump is doing, and it's about Trump, his family, his billionaire friends, and that's it. But I hope that y'all got something out of this. I hope that you follow President Reagan all the way through, as he clearly stated that these tariffs are not good in the long run for the American people. Though it may sound good in the beginning, we're going to take back this, we're going to build factories, we're going to do jobs here in the United States. President Reagan clearly understood that those tariffs will hurt American citizens, especially the regular working class American citizens. So, man, I hope that y'all got something from this. Share your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know. But already had my thoughts that tariffs are not a good thing, but especially after listening to President Reagan and how he broke it down clearly, how it would affect American jobs, American factories, as well as American citizens. I would like to thank y'all for watching the video. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have not done it already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified anytime I make a video. Also, just launched my membership. My memberships are available. If you want to become a member of this positive community, go ahead and join, become a member, follow the link. Like I said, thanks again, man, for the continued support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The tariffs will hurt American citizens. May God continue to be with us. Thank you. Thank you, Ronald Reagan. And thank you for the continued support, man. Y'all be safe out there. Until next time. Peace.